Hi there, and welcome to this video tutorial on the use of Windows Movie Maker. My name is Sean, and I'm going to be going over a few basic techniques on how to become familiar and begin editing on Windows Movie Maker. Whether you're a beginner and you've never done any sort of video or editing production before, or even if you're an advanced user and you want to become familiar with Windows Movie Maker, you've come to the right place. So this tutorial is going to be split into 4 different sections. Number 1, importing and saving. Number 2, trimming and cutting of clips, photos, and other elements. Number 3, adding music and transitions. And lastly, number 4, adding those final touches and exporting your final presentation. If you're unfamiliar with any of those terms that I just mentioned, don't fear. We'll be going over them more in detail as the presentation continues. And so before we get started, I'd like to just go over the user interface, or basically what you see before you when you open the program for the first time. Right here in the bottom right, we have what I like to call the elements box. This is where everything that you import will be stored, and this is where you're going to be selecting and moving around your different clips. To the left of that, we have the preview window where you will be able to see your presentation in real time as you edit it. And lastly, up here at the top, we have all of our options for editing, whether you want to cut or trim a clip or add animations or visual effects or anything like that. This is where you're going to be able to select the edit that you want. And so without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so before we even begin with our first major section of importing and saving, I just want to go over the most important tool that you could ever possess when starting a project or a presentation like this in Windows Movie Maker, and that's knowing the importance of preparation. There's a quote by Benjamin Franklin that goes, "By failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail." Another quote I really like is by Abraham Lincoln, where he says, "Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I will spend the first 4 sharpening the axe." Now, we're not going to be chopping down any trees in this tutorial, but I mention this just to emphasize the importance of preparation. So in our case, when starting a new presentation in Windows Movie Maker, what you're going to want to do is prepare your files. Now here's all the elements that I want going in my presentation. I have some pictures of some cars, I have some music, I have this clip of a lion running, and I want to make a presentation about cars and lions. And so, I could just have all my files here on my desktop in the middle of the screen, just spread out like this, or I could start to prepare and organize my presentation. And so I'm going to right click and create a folder on my desktop, and we're going to name this Cars and Lions. And what this is going to allow us to do is to drag all of these elements that we have and just put it in this one folder, so it's not spread out in the middle of my desktop crowding around everything, but it's all right here, just perfectly stacked up in this folder, easy to access. If I need to add or remove anything, it's easier to see what all I'm working with. And so now we're going to get into the next section of importing and saving, and because we've made this folder and we have all of our elements in this folder, it's going to make it a lot easier to bring it into the program, and you'll see why in a minute. Alright, so now that we're familiar with the user interface of Windows Movie Maker and we've done our preparation by putting all of our files and things in one place, we can start our first major section, which is importing and saving. And what I mean by importing is that we're going to actually bring all of our elements, all of our photos, our videos and pictures, music, whatever we have, and we're going to bring them into the actual program, into Windows Movie Maker, so that we can work with them. And Windows Movie Maker has a really easy way of doing this. All we have to do is click right here on the elements box, and this box should come up, and it's basically asking you to find all of your elements. And here we have all of our elements right here. If your elements didn't show up, we know exactly where we saved them. They would be on the desktop in our folder. In my case, the folder called Cars and Lions, and they're right here. They're all conveniently placed in this folder. We don't have to go around to different places in my computer and look for them, since we made our lives easier by creating a folder, a project folder called Cars and Lions, and putting all of our pictures and elements in there. All we have to do is go to our desktop, go to Cars and Lions, and just select everything and click open. And this will bring all of our elements into Windows Movie Maker. Now the next thing we're going to talk about is saving. And I want to go over saving in the beginning of this tutorial because it is so crucial to save often. And we all know how unpredictable technology can be. Your program can close, your computer can just turn off randomly, and you could lose everything. And so to save, we're going to go up to this blue tab right here next to the home tab, and we're going to go down to Save Project. And we're going to give our presentation a name. In this case, I'm going to go with Cars and Lions. And we're going to save this presentation or this project folder with our other elements in this folder on the desktop that we created called Cars and Lions. And we're going to save our presentation in that folder. And click Save. And there we go. We've saved our presentation into the same folder that all of our elements are on. So back here on the desktop, we can just go to Cars and Lions, and let's just say that I closed my presentation and it's the next day. I want to start working on it again. So I'll just go to Cars and Lions, and here's my presentation right here. This is a Windows Movie Maker file itself, and all we have to do is double click on that, and it'll open Windows Movie Maker with all my elements just like I had them. And the fact that all of my elements are in this folder with the presentation makes it easier because it doesn't have to look in different places to find the different elements. Alright, so now that we've imported our different elements into Windows Movie Maker, we can start our next section, which is to trim, cut, and to just modify our different clips and different elements that we've just imported into Windows Movie Maker. And the first thing I notice is that I have all my photos of my cars here, but my lion clip is right smack dab in the middle, and I want this to be at the end after all of the pictures. So the way I can do this is I can click and hold on this lion clip, and I can just drag it all the way to the end, and you'll notice the gray bar appear, which is going to tell me that if I were to unclick right here, that's where the clip is going to get added to. So if I unclick, the gray bar showed me that it was going to be added to the end, and just like that, we have our lion clip at the very end. Now the next thing I want to do is change the duration or the time that each picture is on the screen, because right now it's at about 6 or 7 seconds before it switches to the next picture, and so I want to decrease that time so that the presentation doesn't get too long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold my control key on my keyboard, and I'm going to select all of the pictures that I have right here, and I'm going to go up to my Edit tab right here at the top, and right here where it says duration, I can pull down this drop down menu and I can select a value. If I want more time, I can select a higher value. If I want less time, like maybe 3 seconds, I can click on 3 seconds. So now all of my pictures, all my photos will only be on the screen for 3 seconds. There we go. And so next what I want to do is I want to go through my photos, and maybe I noticed that I don't really like this photo anymore. I don't want this in my presentation. It doesn't really match with the 2 photos next to it. So how do I delete this picture from my presentation? So what I'm going to do is just click on it, and I can do 2 things. Number one, I could click the delete key that's on my keyboard, or I could click this home button that's at the top in the menu bar, and I can click this red X, and just like that, it's gone. And so now I have all of my photos at the right timing that I want. I have all the photos that I want, and I have my lion clip at the very end of the presentation. And so now we can move on to adding music. So now that we have our different elements here edited down based on selection and duration, we're going to add music, because good music can really make a presentation a lot better. And so the first thing we're going to do is decide where we want the music to start. This black bar right here that you see is kind of an indicator of where things are going to be added. So if I were to click right here on this picture right here, if I were to add music, it would start at the black bar. If I clicked over here and I added music, it would start at the black bar right here, and it would go all the way to the end of the presentation. For right now, I'm just going to click on the first picture because I want the music that I add to start at the beginning of the presentation and go all the way to the end. So I have this selected, and I'm going to go to Home, and I'm going to click this musical note right here to add music. And so since we know where all of our elements are saved to, because we prepped in the beginning, we go to our desktop, we go to our Cars and Lions folder, and there it is. There's our music right there, and we're going to click Open. And it adds our music at the black bar, and it goes all the way through the rest of the presentation. So now we have our music, and it looks great, but maybe I decide that that music is great for the pictures, but I don't really want it on top of the lion clip. It doesn't really match. It doesn't really look that good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this black bar to the front of the clip right here, and what I'm going to do is go to the music tools options right here, this option right here at the top. You can just click on it, and I'm going to click split. And what this is going to do is going to split the music at the black bar. So the music before the black bar is going to be different than the music after the black bar, meaning that the music itself has been cut in half. And so all I have to do now is right click on the music, the green bar, and click remove. And so since it was split into two pieces at the black bar, the part after the black bar was just deleted whenever I clicked remove. And so now we just have the music that I had on top of the pictures, and now there's no music or no audio whatsoever on the lion clip. So now I want to bring music for my lion clip, because I don't want it just to play like this with nothing. So I want to go and find some music, and let's say I have this nature clip right here, this piece of music right here, and if I want to bring it into Windows Movie Maker, I'm not just going to click on add music and go to my desktop and look for this nature file right here. What I'm going to do is continue to have that sort of preparation mindset and take this nature audio clip and bring it into my cars and lions folder. And so it's there with all of the rest of my elements. It's right there. And now I can just go to Windows Movie Maker, and I can go to add music, make sure my black bar is right there at the beginning of the lion clip, go to add music, and I can click on nature. If I didn't see it there, I could go to desktop. I know exactly where it is. I can click nature and click open. And so now we have our nature audio file under the lion clip. And like I was saying before with the black selection tool, I could also use this to decrease the size of this clip itself. If I wanted the clip to play all the way till this lion started running away, I could just move the black bar right here, and I could go to my video tools right here, this option right here, and click split, and then I could just delete this altogether. And there it goes right there. So now I have my lion clip, I have my music underneath it, the nature audio file that I just opened, and there we go. And I have my sounds, my nature sounds, on top of my lion clip. And there you go, we just added music, and now we can go on to the next section. Alright, so now that we have music in our presentation, let's talk a little bit about transitions, whether it's audio or video. So right now, when I play this, notice how the pictures just go straight into each other with no transition whatsoever. It's kind of harsh, it's kind of abrupt, there's no real visual transition, and so if I want to add a visual transition in between the different pictures, what I can do, for example, if I want to transition between the red car and the yellow car, what I can do is click on this yellow car and go up to animations, and I have all these transitions to choose from. And so maybe I want this transition to the yellow car, from the yellow car to the logo. I can click on this logo, and I can click on this transition. Maybe from the logo to the red car, I want this is a heart transition. And so now I have transitions in between my photos. And there we go. And we could also do this from the photos into the video. If I want to transition from this last picture into the video, I could click on this video clip and add a transition. And there we go. If I started right here at this clip, there we go. It transitioned straight into there. And another thing you'll notice is when I added the transition, we extended the length of this music so that it's starting to overlap with this lion clip. And a way we can fix that is like we did earlier. We can go to the beginning of this clip, the black bar shows up, we can go to our music tools and click split, and now the music has split in half at this black bar. So we can click on this music and click remove, and so now our original music, our nature sounds, has can come back to just over the lion clip, and our strobe music that we had earlier is just over our pictures. And so the last transition we're going to talk about is the transition of music, of audio. So right now When I play this, notice how the music just kind of just drops off and picks up the nature sounds when the pictures end. See that? It was kind of abrupt, it was kind of harsh. It went from the loud music to the soft nature sounds, and we can fix that. We can go to this last picture where this music ends, and we can click on the music, and we can go to our music tools. It should already select whenever you click on the music, but you can click on the options and music tools and click on fade out, because we want to fade it out and then we want to fade in the nature sounds. So we're going to do a medium fade out, and then we're going to click on the audio, the nature sounds, and fade it in. We're going to go back to the music tools and go to fade in medium, and so we're going to go here and notice how it fades in and out and in now. There we go, and now we have the music fading out and in. And so now we can move on to the final step, which is exporting. Alright, so now that we've added transitions, let's just say that we are completely satisfied with our project at this point. There's nothing else that we want to change, although in reality I probably wouldn't even show this to somebody who's extremely visually impaired. There's just way too much going on. But let's just say that I'm completely satisfied and I want to be able to save this as a video file and be able to play it on a separate device outside of Windows Movie Maker. And so that's when we come to exporting, and that's exactly what exporting means. Is we're going to save this as a video file, and we're going to be able to play it on a different device, whether it's a phone, a computer, tablet, whether it's your TV. And so we're going to come over to this home tab right here, and we're going to go all the way to save movie. There's a drop down menu underneath the picture, make sure to click that, and you have all these options for saving your presentation. You have 1080p high definition, for instance, which is a really high quality version of your presentation that you could play on higher end TVs and things, but I wouldn't always recommend saving it in this format, because it will take a long time for Windows Movie Maker to create such a high quality video out of your elements. And also older TVs and phones and things will not be able to play something that's a very high quality. And so we're going to go with feature phone right here. I think it's 640 by 480 pixels, which is a pretty okay quality for example purposes anyways. But there are a plethora of choices here that you can choose from, different formats that you can choose, different qualities that you can choose. Just choose the one that's best for you and for your purposes. So I'm going to go with feature phone large, and I'm going to save it to my Cars and Lions folder, and we're going to save that. And that's it. That's the final step. After you click save, it's going to save your movie, it's going to create it and turn it into a video file. And for example purposes, I've actually already done this, so I'm not going to wait for it to finish. But when it does finish, are you sure you want to cancel? Yes. So when it does finish, it'll give you a message saying it has finished and it has saved to the place where you wanted it to save. And you can just go and find your presentation and play it. And so right here, there it is, Cars and Lions. There's our final project that we created, and we can just click on it and watch our video. And there you have it. I'm not going to play the whole video. I think you've seen enough of it also. And so that's pretty much it. I hope you've learned something during this tutorial, and I hope that you were able to apply the skills to make a great presentation on Windows Movie Maker. Thanks for watching. Bye.